Hey, my name is Paula, and I'm making this short film because I was only a child during the war. And I remember little things, like the news reports, the checkpoints, the bus searches, and the blackouts. I wish to empathise with both sides of the conflict, and this will serve as a snapshot of a moment in time when there was peace. The people and their accounts within this piece are real. None of this is fiction, and these people are not actors. Their experiences have helped to mould them into the people they are today, and they need not apologise for their viewpoints or opinions, because they are being merely totally honest. I do hope that wherever you are, this film reaches you well.
My name's Max Keegan and I'm a freelance journalist.
My name is Dr. Angus Lockridge and I'm currently the Chief Medical Officer for Northern Ireland.
I'm Joe Robson. I was a soldier during the war.
My name is Lord Chamberlain and my son was taken from me because of the conflict.
Hi, I'm Greg Duffy, and if you ask me, the war was stopped too soon.
I'm Johanna, and I'm sorry for everything, but I cannot repent because your God has forsaken my people.
My name is Chancellor Goodman, and I am a minister in the current government.
I'm Veronica.
And my name is Gary. We're in love with each other.
How did the war begin?
The war started, as most wars do, over a difference of opinion. You can argue over who fired the first shot, but you only have to look back at the records to see the history of persecution and ill-treatment. Human beings haven't been very humane towards these poor people.
My people and I have been hunted and killed by humans for as long as I can remember, but it still doesn't justify what happened. We've had our talks, and that has proven that we can sit around now, an executive government in coalition.
They're human in almost every way apart from the cannibalistic tendencies and the allergic reaction to sunlight. Oh yeah, and the front incisors, a dead giveaway.
They asked for volunteers to help keep the peace. Me and two of my best mates signed up. We were young, needed the money.
There are a few schools of thought about their origin. In my opinion, it's some sort of evolutionary mutation. Where have they come from? That's anybody's guess. Why did they migrate to Northern Ireland? They probably heard about how we used to be in bled dry.
Things quickly got out of control. Once their existence was verified, there was of course mass panic. The first action the government took was to gather them all together for their own protection.
Modern day concentration camps, that's all they were. Filthy, substandard, degrading. We were herded together like animals. Human rights.
Once the rehabilitation centres were ransacked and looted, the government commenced Operation Daybreak. That was a very sad day indeed. It was effectively issuing a death warrant on the vampires.
I was always a laugh, going out on patrol. Streetwalkers call us.
There are thousands go missing every year. Let me tell you, sweetheart. Now, it isn't fucking E.T. and his mates. People just don't disappear. Nobody blinks an eyelid if a drug dealer vanishes, or a prosy, or some homeless person. They're still human. And who's looking out for them?
I remember the respect we used to get from people in their houses as we walked past. Kids waving out from barred windows. We felt special. I felt special.
The more you oppress people, the greater their desire is to rebel against that oppression.
We always had our wee motto, the three of us. Johnny, Joe and Harry Steve. We want more money, we want more leave. More ladies too, it has to be said. As we venture forth to claim the undead. It's just a harmless little thing. We were always making up all kinds of poems and limericks. We always did growing up. Those were good times.
How did the two of you meet?
I was in one of those camps and he was a protester on the outside trying to help us escape.
It was a very strange time. I firmly believe that a higher power brought us together, and I knew straight away we'd be together forever. And no, the age difference doesn't bother me.
I'll be 260 in June.
You've had one in here, haven't you? I can fucking smell them.
There are those who would challenge our choice, but we're in love with each other. It's as simple as that.
It's unnatural. Humans and vampires cannot and should not coexist.
It's a shame that we have to struggle through intolerance and ignorance in this day and age.
One day we'll be free, if the good Lord spares us.
I don't know what the future holds for us. All I know is I love my husband and I'll do anything to protect him.
I assume that humans and vampires can have sex with each other.
Intercourse between the two species? Absolutely no problem there. Vampire genitalia and human genitalia are pretty much identical. Vampire and human reproductive systems are not compatible with each other.
The blood that flows through my veins, there is very little difference to the blood that flows through yours. Although on reflection, I'm sure yours is tastier than mine.
We've been told it's impossible, but when you put your faith in the good Lord, nothing is impossible. I firmly believe He will give us a child.
And if we have to adopt, we'll be going through all the right channels. We'll go to the high courts if we have to. Human vampire rights are getting better by the day.
And our child won't have to live like his parents.
And things are getting better. We have been allowed a civil partnership.
Do you not approve of marriages between humans and vampires?
What do you think? What are the politicians thinking of? Not just spineless bastards. They're scared of doing anything. Even us people here. They deal with the consequences.
Tell me about your most memorable moment of the war.
We were ready for the big push to the castle. That's when everything went dead.
In the early days, humanity had most of the advantages. I mean, humans could fight 24 hours a day, whereas vampires could only fight between sunset and sunrise. Humans also had technology on their side, and as in all major wars, technological developments were on the up. No one could have imagined what the vampires were capable of.
Everything just stopped working. Our trackers, scopes, scanners, even our weapons. We were in the dark, quite literally. Then the screaming started.
The electromagnetic pulse. Such a perfect weapon against those who depend so much on technology.
The EMP rendered everything useless. Everything the humans were using during the war relied on an electronic chip vital to its use. I mean, us reporters, we couldn't report in the way that we used to. We literally had to go back to the drawing board to keep everyone informed of what was going on here.
The screams started in the distance, at the front lines. We were on about like headless chickens. We were being killed one by one. All we could do was use our guns as clubs. There were moments of silence that were truly horrifying. I heard Tommy beside me choke. That's when I was showered in his blood. I just froze.
Where we used our mobile phones and the internet to communicate before, we had to go back to the good old notepad and pencil. These are a few of my notes here, and as you can see, they're all covered in mud and blood, I suppose.
I felt Tommy's shuddering body fall at my feet. He was clambering to my legs, trying to pull himself up. It was too late. He was still alive when they fed on him. I listened as they savoured his blood. Sorry. I swear. I think one of them even licked my face clean.
On average, a vampire would kill between 25 and 50% of his prey. The rest he would turn to bolster their numbers at a later date. Sun Tzu would have been very proud.
I heard nothing else the rest of the night. Daylight came, they were gone. All I could see was the bodies of all my comrades, my friends. Eventually relief arrived and I was taken off to hospital.
Why do you think you were spared?
It's the $1 million question. Maybe to spread the word of what they can do. Maybe they were just toying with me. Maybe they'd had their fill.
This conflict was based on a fear and a hatred of us. We didn't start it. Many of us were happy to live in the shadows. Others had hopes and aspirations of living in harmony and at peace with humans. It may be something that you will see in your lifetime. Me, I am immortal.
Of course, the war had a serious effect on the mental stability of all participants on both sides.
Every time I close my eyes, I can hear those screams. I have no idea why to this day I was left alive.
Tell us about your loss.
My son was only an infant when they came in the night and just took him. They rounded us all up like cattle, picked on the weak, the young, the old. It made no difference to them.
I'm not saying inhumane things didn't happen. There were atrocities on both sides of this conflict. How can we forget the burning of the Carrickfergus 11 or the bombing of the Edelweiss Hotel?
We did nothing to anyone. My little boy did nothing to anyone. He would have been a teenager now.
It was evil. I know a lot of what we did has been refuted by my kind. And I saw things that made me hate myself and my species. I can't take any of it back. Of course, there is evil on all sides.
Propaganda was rife. Treating women and children like cattle. Look, I know a lot of humans wanted to believe those lies. Those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Let this be a statement.
This really isn't
We
supposed
know
to be a
what you all
platform
did.
for that sort of thing.
Don't interrupt me. We know what you all did, and we're watching you. There will be compensation.
I know not all of them are bad, but how can anyone tell?
A lot of people gain from the conflict. This cannot be allowed.
What happened once the war was over?
I had to go back to civilian life, which wasn't easy. Been out of the hospital for over a decade now. I see so many therapists for all sorts of things. I heavily dependent on medication. Mainly to help me sleep. Keep me calm. I very rarely go out of the house anymore. Even now, I'm shaking.
You think it's over? And that's not over. It just takes that one wee thing.
I was heavily involved in the initial negotiations and the eventual treaty for peace between humans and vampires. Since that time, I have been committing myself to improving human-vampire relations, for me, through politics.
We've been working really hard with the vampires to try and eradicate some of the Earth's most deadly viruses. Soon we hope to have vaccines for the likes of influenza, some cancers, maybe even the AIDS virus.
Don't believe everything you read in the paper, see on TV, or even on the internet. There's thousands of people, and they're unaccounted for, missing. Where are they? There are experiments going on everywhere. There are 5-year-old kids running about the streets saying that they want to be like these parasites. Society as we know it is deteriorating. There is something wrong. Something has to be done about it. That's why I'm here today talking to you.
I ended up all over the world after the war. It really was a great experience. To see what was happening here happen all over the world, it was so exhilarating.
I never gave up hope about finding Adam. All I could do was search the country, visiting all the known camps, trying to see if anyone had heard anything of him, even seen him.
Would you like to stop?
Sorry, just give me a second. It turns out he wasn't the only child that was taken. There've been thousands. I've heard that probably they fed on him and just threw his lifeless, drained body away. My son just discarded like a banana peel.
If we are to coexist, there must be justice.
I mean, the bodies have never been found, but the government can give a fuck. As long as their families are safe, that's all they can tell us about. Fucking bastards. I'm sorry. Oh.
What do you think the future holds?
I'm very hopeful for the future. A future that embraces the strengths and the differences of humans and vampires to make this society stronger, peaceful, vibrant. And if we can get it right here, there is absolutely no reason that a similar process cannot take place in other parts of the world.
I'll be spending the rest of my life with my wife and our new family.
We have discussed this, and one way or another, we will be spending eternity together.
Till death do us part. But sure, you're dead already.
I want a future that shows that my son and others like him didn't die in vain.
I don't know what the future will bring, but at the moment we have peace and we have understanding. It will be down to the politicians from both species to help guide us into a future that both species can be a part of. Along the way, there will be people like me to keep all of you informed.
The medical advances we can make are truly mind-boggling. Personally, I can't wait to get into the labs and start some work.
I just hope it was better than what it was. I don't want people, human or vampire alike, to go through what we went through.
Nothing's going to change. People need to take their heads out of their arses and smell the coffee. And I know I'm not alone in saying this. But when it kicks off, I know I'll be there. I'm not going anywhere.
I will continue to be a thorn in the sides of those whose hands have been washed clean with lies. It's a long road that I'm travelling, but I do not walk it alone.
Yes, it may be an uneasy peace, but it is still peace.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the participants who took part in this film. I do hope that the peace continues and that we can remain safe. Goodbye, and thank you for watching.